Swap camera. Okay. Hi everyone. Well, I'm really excited actually. I'm gonna tilt this down a little bit. There you go. To be here today because it is Wild Wisdom Wednesday, of course. And what I decided to do is kind of fun, and I'm going to help you not get a big glare. There we go. Whew, so much energy right now around the beginning of the year, and it's after the 15th, and I wanted to find just the right book today, and I was like, what book should I read from? So for those of you popping on who are now kind of like hearing about me being live, I wanted to welcome you. For those of you who've never been here before, Wild Wisdom Wednesday, typically I read from a book, an excerpt from a book, and then we talk a little bit about what that wisdom is about. However, today is a little different. I have had some downloads from the Oracle about kind of the state of where things are in the universe as far as how the energy seems to be shifting. And so it felt really important to kind of give this space to the Oracle today. And while I said to myself, of course, well, we always read a little something. What can we read before we start off today? And so I got myself a cup of tea. And one of the great things is that there was a Good Earth tea bag at my office. And I love that on Good Earth tea bags, there's, I'm going to show it to you because, let's see. Okay, there's a little tag. And on the tag is usually a little quote or concept or idea. So I thought, well, why not read the tea leaves? Which, of course, I joked about in the title to this. And it said, when you stop doing things for fun, you may as well be dead. Ernest Hemingway. And why that's funny to me is that part of what, let me get these off, sorry. I cannot read now without glasses. Holler if you are watching this and you are over 40 and you recognize that some of the print in the world seems to be much smaller all of a sudden. That's what happened to me. So that's why I'm now wearing glasses, and you'll see sometimes I'll be wearing glasses off and on. So I think that the voice of the Oracle has been drawing me to do more things this year that are not only in alignment with kind of my business goals and my visions for helping people, but also to help myself. A big thing last year, I think a very big topic was self-care, and you heard a lot about that, I'm sure, from different coaches and healers and leaders, trying to kind of bring balance back to their lives and businesses. And I think that's great. I also think that part of the way that was put out there was this need to do it so that you are it was almost like a chore, right? It's like a list of things to do, and one of them is self-care. What's on the self-care list, right? Well, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. And so I feel like part of what this year has started to kind of unfold itself as is the year where we're actually having fun in our lives with the work that we do, like returning to the joy of what it was that brought you to whatever work you're doing. So if you're a person who is a designer, or you are a person who works with children, or even if you're a person who works in an office, What was the thing that brought you to the work that you chose to do? Now, perhaps you're not happy with your work. So there's that. So, excuse me, I'm going to take a little sip of my tea. Because I love tea. And tea makes my heart happy when it's cold out. So what is the thing that you found excitement in doing your job? So even if you have a job, right? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are entrepreneurs, but some of you work for a company or an organization, and you still had to show up and apply for that position. So what was the thing that for you interested you about taking that job? Now, some of you might be rolling your eyes and go, well, I got a paycheck. Great, but there must have been something about getting the paycheck that excited you. Like, was it just covering household expenses? Was it being able to cover household expenses and do X? So what was X? What was the thing that excited you about starting your new job or starting your new company or working with the next client? And how can you return now every day with that intention of bringing back the joy of the work itself? So for me, one of the things that I love about the work that I do as an oracle is I share insights and guidance from a spiritual realm with clients who are struggling perhaps with either knowing what direction to take with their business or the confidence that the inclinations they have for themselves are valid, right? I had a client recently who I got the opportunity to work with, who was looking at job opportunity, like what he will do next in his life, in his career. And in doing so, in talking about kind of his skills and his talents and things like that, there was this undertow of a recognition for his skill set, but also a part of him that wanted to be recognized and seen and experienced in the work that he does. And so creating an opportunity for him to see how he could combine those two things was really exciting for me. To watch somebody's face light up and say, it's possible to do something you love in a way that you love doing it and make a difference in the world. I think it's actually the only way that we can really make a difference in the world. When we're really on purpose, it's because we're happy and we're in our zone, right? Our happy space. We're doing something that is purely our own to have and be. So whatever that looks like for you, I encourage you to ask yourself, am I finding the joy in my work still? Am I creating something of value in the world based on something that brings me joy? Now, I'm not saying that every part of your job or your business will make you super happy, right? I mean, I think that's just part of doing business, right? Like there's pieces of our business that we have to do just because they help us to function at a business level. But even in those places, are you doing it from a place of understanding that it's going to allow you to do things you like doing and bring something of value to the world? And by doing that, do you connect with that part of it that makes you happy? And what is it about what you do that truly makes you happy? For me, like I said, it's about seeing someone kind of have that light bulb aha moment that there is a possibility for them that's different than they thought there was. Like they felt very closed in and now they feel very open and expansive. To me, that brings me joy to see someone have that aha moment. And for me, being able to share the gift of that divine knowledge that comes from the oracle. And now I get to use that for myself as well. And in my life, I look at the opportunities that come to me from a perspective of, will this bring me more joy? Will this bring me closer to the path that I'm intending with my life and my business? And if so, how? So I can focus on that. So I can bring my energy to that piece. So if you're watching this now, or if you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear from you. Like, what is the one thing that when you started out on this job or entrepreneur journey that brought you joy in the work that you do? What was it that excited you about either helping people or showing up and doing a craft? What was the thing that when you were doing it, you were excited about doing it? Hey Lotus, welcome to the call. Great to see you here on Wild Wisdom Wednesday. Let me know, what is that one thing that brings you joy in the work that you do? And how do you stay connected to it? How do you stay connected to that every day, right? It's not just a once in a while time, but how do you kind of make that part of how you live your day and your work? I think the more that we do that, and the more this year, especially for 2018, that we bring the love of what we do to the work we do, then we'll have more success in our life and our business. So that's part of the reason that I brought the idea of doing retreats to my work, because I think that having an experience where we get to be fully immersed in diving down deep into why we do what we do, why it makes us happy, why we can bring that joy and that energy to our work matters. Because once we do that, once we're immersed in the love and the passion of what we do, then we are sending out a signal to the universe and attracting back to us the clients and the opportunities to do more, right? So it becomes self-perpetuating. And that allows our business to grow, and that allows something positive to grow in the universe. So to me, outside of just going, stepping away and having an amazing experience in Thailand, for example, in February, it's more about knowing that I'm helping people to empower that deep knowledge and connection and create actual practical ways to bring that forth and to really dig into what that is. Lotus says, knowing I am giving empowering tools to moms so they can deepen their confidence in their own inner knowing of what they and their kiddos need best. I think that's fantastic. And I know knowing that, right, knowing whatever the thing is, makes it easier to make decisions in your business that are tied to how you can do that more, right? So we learn to let go and delegate those things that don't align with our opportunity to do that more. And then we also focus on finding ways to do more of that and let that lead us into better success. So as I often talk about for myself, it's about creating clarity, confidence, and transformation for my clients. That clarity piece to me is what the retreat is really about. Like, the transformation comes from a deeper clarity about what we're trying to do in our businesses and how that will shape the world. Because as people like Lotus, by the way, have shown me, this is the year, I think they call it a 2-year of love. And so as a year of love, then we want to look at how we can love what we do, and how we can bring the love of what we do forward in the way that we do our business and we live our lives. So what is it that we'll do in this retreat? So aside from coming into an amazing experience in Phuket, Thailand, and then going off on the long-tailed boat to the island at the Golden Buddha Beach Resort, we'll be taking deep dives into what it is your business is about, how knowing what your business is about and why it serves can give you a platform for bringing in new clients to expand your business and to deepen the work that you're already doing so that it serves you and the other people that you serve. To me, a business that is healthy has those two elements at its core. You're not only creating a product or service just to serve others, but it's allowing you to tap into something that is truly yours, that then allows you to go deeper in your own experience, like learn from the process of the experience. I see someone else here. Feel free to say hi, send me a thumbs up if you have a comment or question. I can actually see them now because I've got this all set up. So feel free to do that as well. But I think it's really beautiful that we'll have like really deep, intimate time each day to not just talk about the surface stuff, not just talk about the tools that it takes to really craft a business that is fiscally and functionally successful, but that it supports you and allows you to grow. And so we'll be looking at what levels of your business and your goals for kind of your expansion and your entrepreneurial vision, what you'd like to develop or delve deeper into, and where there might be places where you're not looking at some of perhaps your old patterns that would be perhaps, let's say they would actually be either challenges to overcome or potential pitfalls and sabotage. Because that's the thing that as we expand our businesses, there can be a thrust of energy, and we want to make sure that we're clearing the path. So we're clearing the path ahead of us, but we're also looking at anything that's kind of hanging up, like tangled around. It's almost like a vine being tangled around your feet, right? So you're kind of climbing through that process, but you're not doing it alone. Because what I know for a fact is that when we get the help that we need, and in my own experience of growing my business over the last 20 some years, is that it took me having someone else ahead of me on the path, right, who knew what it took to get to where they were, to help me see what steps I could take, but also look behind me and see what was still holding me back, that had that kind of objectivity, right, of not being invested in my old stories, to hear my stories for what they really were, and to give me that opportunity and space to really uncover what that really meant for me so that I could let go of some of those stories. And that's what I'm really excited about creating a space for in Thailand, is the opportunity to look at what part of your story brings you joy. What part of your vision for where you want to go with your life and business can we support you in building, right? So really deep digging into what it looks like to build that and support that in that realm, in a space that is going to be ridiculously gorgeous and very intimate. So we're talking about, I was mentioning that I had this great vision the Oracle gave me probably about 10 days ago. And the vision really that I got very clear on was a group of women sitting around in this open air home on the water next to the beach, the tropical beach, with the air flowing in. All of us sitting around in these beautiful, gorgeous, richly colored sarongs, because it's very warm there. So it's a very comfortable and luscious experience. But what I really saw in that was the faces of people who were starting to light up, right? So like literally seeing bulbs, like the little thought bulbs over their heads of like, oh my gosh, the potential for where they could take themselves and their businesses, and having that really juicy experience of sharing that community space, of sharing the mastermind energy, and getting direct guidance and support from the Oracle for what the very specific steps were for these individuals to take next. And then having tools, practical tools from Molly Mandelberg to really lay out a plan that gave them not only what the next steps were on kind of a surface level, but actual literal step-by-steps to take, that they would walk away with something that would be akin to an entire business plan for what they were doing next. So it's not just about going away and having that expansive vision. It's about taking that expansive vision, going deeper, and then creating and crafting your year ahead to the highest degree of next level success. So what I know for me is what excites me about that is that vision I had of seeing those faces light up, of seeing people say yes to themselves, yes to a bigger vision, and yes to the potential of making a real difference in this world. Because if I hear anything else right now, as I look around on social media and as I talk to clients and as I talk to people in networking groups, it's this knowing in our gut right now that we, the individual people of the world, by up-leveling and bringing ourselves into the best that we can be, we are the ones that are going to make the biggest difference. We are the ones that are going to really shift the face of our world by showing up more fully and in more joy and looking for ways to create a community around that appreciates and values that and lifts each other up, right? So it's about pulling ourselves up into a place where we can see more possibility and move into that. So again, because today is Wild Wisdom Wednesday, and we always I like to have that little challenge for you. To me, it's asking you to consider for yourself, what is that one piece of what you do that brings you joy, that really fills you up when you do it? And how can you this week bring more of that into your life and business? Bring more of that into like working with clients. If it is about listening, if like that's your gig, like just hearing people's stories is really what makes you feel warm in your core and feel, energized and lifted up, then can you sit down with your next client and give them an extra 10 minutes of your time, an extra 5 minutes to just ask the question, like, tell me more about what it is you do and how I can serve you, right? Or is it, if you're an artist, is it a certain style of artistry? Is it a certain color that lights you up when you see it? Is it a certain way of expressing yourself? How can you do more of that? If you are somebody who works in a corporate environment and there was something about either the role you took on or the business itself that you really were excited about, how can you step more fully into being a part of that? Can you focus your time and energy throughout your day on digging deeper into understanding or sharing with other people what it is you love about what you do or what it is that the business does? And if you're an entrepreneur, why did you want to do what you're doing? What was it that excited you about that? And how do you bring that back in? How do you make sure that that's kind of leading your day and leading the path towards expanding your business? I really believe that 2018 is going to be a year for people to really grow and up-level their businesses if they take the opportunity. And that's the key. You have to be willing to take the opportunity. You have to be willing to take that leap of faith. You have to be willing to kind of stake your claim into where you want to go next, so that you can kind of bring your vision forward and use that as fuel to move your business along. So what is it that you find joy in? And I'd love to see you, if you're watching the replay, if you're doing this now, as Lotus did earlier, share it in the comments. Share this video if you think it will inspire people around you to kind of start to contemplate for themselves before the end of January, right? Before we get like so bogged down into our year that we've given up this fertile valley of time in January when we're really about looking forward for the year. So give yourself an opportunity this week, if you will, and share what comes up for you, because I'd love to hear it. I'd love to know, what is it? What is that thing that brings you joy, that brought you to what you do? And how, if you want to go for like the bonus question, and how, when you do it, how you will make that part of your daily routine or your daily experience this week so that you can bring more joy into the world. Because the world needs you. It needs you to be the exact person you are, doing the exact work that you were meant to do. And when it has your full participation and it's done in a joyous manner, the world is lifted up. Things are better. People are happier. And we create the environment that we want to see in the world when we set ourselves up to succeed in that way. So, thanks for joining me. Thanks for those of you who popped in and said hello. And next time, we'll see you next week for Wild Wisdom Wednesday and learn more about what the wild wisdom is that shows up around our experience in the world. Thanks again. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk later. Bye now.